Losing 1v2. Heck it, let's have 1v2 in every single one of the games that they right. Keep this end game spicy.
I mean, me personally, I ain't praying on the downfall or nothing, right? But it would be nice for Peter Workman to have a slower start so we could have more of a competition.
Yeah, this is insane. Day 2.
I think that's fair. I'll just rewrite the scripture quickly before we do that. But Fortnite fam, it is that time. Game number 7 is prepared for us. So let's send it on up to Monster Defense and the best topic.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. The script, we gotta go ahead and adjust that bad boy for day 2 scores. There's 6 more games here.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, I know it's really easy to get caught up in that point disparity that Peter Martin Boyd have established, but again, the 1.5 times multiplier makes anything possible. We've already heard a couple of pretty popular duos. Strong teams say that they're ready to challenge here in match 7.
You know what, Vizsla, you're just a hater, alright? Literally keep hating. Yo, what's up, Eli? How we doing, man? Yo.
Exactly, Restored Rails has definitely been a pretty popular hot contest here between Malibu for Stash and the Power Boys from Oceana, Alex, and Worthy. Worthy, though, managed to find a shield potion off the rip. It definitely bode very well, and surprisingly calm start for both.
It's actually like really loud here. Like, it's loud.
An opportunity here to root things out and see how that next engagement really goes.
Oh, it's different than what we saw in days previous.
Yeah, this is game 7. Game 7 just started.
Seems like there's a little bit of a different strategy going down here. Yesterday, Peter Montoyo probably had 2 eliminations from the drop here. However, they are still at 0. But jumping on over to the conversation of Malibu for Stash, game 1 jitters, more like game 7. However, step up now. That's exactly what we want to see here. But for Kovacs and Huddy, the most surprising, I think, of all the duels that have appeared inside of the top.
Power's been going crazy over the past day or 2. Like, Murstache is getting, like, absolutely, like, his team's getting pissed on. They're just not doing good. Chris got it this time. They were doing bad yesterday.
Something the analyst desk was asking for was a potential Bethlehem Mugen and Bracket appearance to maybe try and challenge for this bunker that Swizzy Yapko already seemingly trying to create space around. They've got plenty of boxes surrounding them. Rise and Yuma actually going to opt to disengage for the time being, but curious to see if maybe we can get a little bit more action looking at that Karen's Crossing bunker.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard the insight, right? A lot of these teams are putting tons of respect on the Asian duos, especially Yuma Rise, Kate Yoga, and Napoli. Very, very, very strong duos coming out of Asia right now, and they have demanded and earned their respect. But jumping back into things here in the beachhead, Cold and Acorn are coming in, right? They obviously have their heads set straight, right? They had a great performance. They won. Finding their stride here is going to be super important, given that, I mean, they're always going to stay under pressure, right? Teams playing well, teams, of course, hitting the big.
But today is a real opportunity to see for some of those teams where the
Like, there's so many like streamers here. It's like kind of weird. Like, they're just like everywhere. Like, there's like several over there too. It's weird. Just seeing streamers everywhere.
They're gonna have to fight their way through Stroll and Sky, just getting healthier on the edge of Rebel Bruce.
Yeah, all things considered right now, Stroll and Scott are winning this engagement, given that Kovacs does not have field to work with. Vino and Clips in a very important fight. A quick rotate, a swift one. Very crispy cheeks here. It's
It's almost surprising to see that Eclipse with our new method of approach. The real question that remains now is, geez, Chris, how are they going to manage to actually deal with this sort of early pressure? Because again, the small surprises, the little bits of inducement, that's all it takes in a split second for everything to go south.
Stroll and Sky moving back to the Rebels' roost after pushing out Honey and Kovacs there. So it does seem
I'm hoping Queasy wins, honestly. Like, that's who I'm rooting for. I think they're gonna win. But Peterbot and Pollo are just so far ahead of like everyone else right now. Like, I think like 100 points ahead.
Look, I know Vico and
I don't know.
Quincy like to think that this is their forecast hour. These exchanges right now from the peaks of these surge bases are leading me to believe that Bolt's Price, they might just get this one all to themselves. Their traffic to Hasen just gives them so much more of an advantage from tracking quicker towards this forecast hour, getting that setup online. Really on what Capitini is dealing with, and it's actually Oshie, but Worthy, unfortunately, not going to be able to stand tall this time.
very tough team to go against. Capitini won game number 1. Clearly, they have a stride about them that has been shown here this weekend. Match 7 now, starting off in almost similar fashion. It seems like everyone's trying to get their bearings. They start a bit ahead, but keeping that momentum is going to be one of question here today. This European duo, and overall still within the top 20 is impressive to say the least. 1.5x multiplier rate, every Ewan means a lot more. Placement points. We're going to wait even heck here as things start to add up, but there's a couple of Sphinx and Dukes here who are trading attacks. It seems like trying to farm some kind of damage here in the early game across what might be a twin and hold.
Right now, Sphinx and Dukes, they're just taking full advantage and applying a little pressure on the teams at Red Line Break. Keep in mind, if they do get a successful shield crack, they could always look to just try and turbo aggress. They've got that flaming boost right next to them, and Sphinx just seems to be prioritizing exclusively the surge tag damage threshold control.
How impressive of Swizzy and Yako to survive the drop, trash, threats, pretty much a lot of action down at the raft, so it is, of course, in their best interest to get loot and hit the road. Quite honestly, you don't want to stick around there, given what can be in store. Casting Aspect clearly didn't want any more of that action as well, as they moved somewhat north here to try to make the best of their strategy. But look at what happened. It's kind of causing this very congested area here. Ultimately, when Storm Surge turns on, most of these teams that have created these new adjustments will end up clashing in much more circumstances.
And well, that's the thing, because teams can review, teams can try to make those adjustments and implement new strategies, but how much of it is actually going to be structured around what you are engaging with in day one as opposed to the other adjustments that similar teams, similar mindsets, everybody is looking to try and change things up here. At least in day one wasn't working out in their favor.
Hawk-up bombers with salt finding some knocks there in the feed on teams nearby, but couldn't confirm their elimination, so their damage must be ranking up nicely. Meanwhile, the Twin Flipsy have a bit of a position here over the opponent. Talk about fights for the forecast tower. The card is in the hands of Bryce and Bolt, who are just outside of it, so if they want to activate it, they will have to fight their way through Kuzua.
At the same time, though, cloning Kwanzu might be enough of a distraction factor. Bolt and Bryce are going to look to retreat just a little bit further east from where the forecast tower is currently at, but Vico and Blixie know that they've got the prime real estate currently. They don't want to allow for Bryce and Bolt to get a complete freebie for this forecast tower, but they might not have a choice, and even further still in the horizon, Thomas HD, Queasy, slight surge base on a hill just outside of Reckless Railways, but more importantly still, Thomas HD, he was on fire all day yesterday. especially with that Monarch pistol.
And we saw moments where he was clutching up, perfectly timed there, back-to-back tags. This is the highlight you were just talking about, Taco. I mean, Thomas HD is a sniper with anything in his hands that does big damage.
If it's got a scope, then Thomas HD is going to be an absolute fiend with that weapon. But Ruga, Aviv, another one of our team's big fan favorites here, of course, but also just knowing that they need to try and develop some form of a new strategy. Even walked into a booth in elevator earlier on today here at AF and asked him, hey, looking at the comeback, and he's like, well, I hope so. And it could start here. We only got one elimination onto Danad that just keep trying to keep his duo's hopes alive, but Ruga and Aviv, they struggled a decent bit with their surge for damage, so this could be a big opportunity if they're able to pinpoint where TK is at. They don't look like they want to let it go.
I'm looking at the map, but the team looking at very faster for the South now, so other opinions are going to be thrown into the conversation here. Is Asia's Job and Michael, who have now started sliding their way to the corner. So anything really change happening to be wise for Ruga to be possibly make a move now, but of course, day 2 strategies are being put to the test.
But Job and Michael need to be careful with the way that they're crouch walking around that rooftop. Duke's courtyard sitting at a slightly lower elevation than some of the POIs surrounding it. And there's a high possibility a team in the surge phase happens to be looking around, see some freely opened up shots. Players not protected from behind because they're too fixated on trying to get this surprise opportunity onto Aviv and Ruga.
There's Toyota, Mikoli, Kovacs, and Huddy. A lot of teams looking to set up an ambush at the moment. Not love this strategy here. We haven't seen too many big plays coming up the bush just yet, but doesn't mean even a top-tier professional won't get caught off guard, given that we've seen anything happen here on the desk. But there's just no foot traffic here, given that the zone is pretty far north, it seems, over position at the moment.
Problem though for Kovacs and Huddy, since they were forced out of Rebels Roost, they didn't actually have that time, that opportunity to properly farm out some of those much needed farm materials. Their mat count looking a little bit grim given the current circumstances. It's gonna be hard to try and control their own mid-game. Got materials to back it out of his head. Persa tracking down Solo in Nathan, but no backup this time with Cypher Nathan.
Kind of on the move right now. And pressing hot on the walls here, Nathan trying to escape. It's not looking good for Nathan over CCT into the box. So goes Ed. Well played for them, and the Brazilian commentators are popping off on the desk right now for the Brazilian region. You love to see that for Ed and Persa here.
A lot of these players also looking for those confidence, the momentum swings that can make all the difference for these next few matches. Clear up day number 2 here, Chicho. Just strong connections off of that Monarch pistol. Meanwhile, Pico and Quixie find themselves a little bit of a pressing situation here onto Clone, but with a team that knows Reckless Railways as expertly as Pico and Quixie, the split approach, they managed to sandwich Clone in between them, and it looks like Kramsu might also be caught in the thick of it, but I like this pincer removal technique coming out of Pico and Quixie.
Yeah, it's working very well, but if this duo of Kramsu and Clone decided to collapse on one or the other, it could spell disaster, so let's see what happens here. This is, of course, Reckless Railways, though. This is their home turf. Hard wall coming down. This is not good for Pico. I was going to say, they've cut off this backup. Let's see. Look, has to work all the way around. And now he has to actually back off here. So, definite mistakes being made right now. Forced to cap off HP here, given that he'll have to play this one out by himself for a couple of moments. Meanwhile, still a lurking duo nearby. In CR's Michael and T1 Job there. Anything can happen, but look at how Pico unfortunately gets caught off and out of position.
There's a lot of trust that's implemented into that split technique, but more importantly, still Clone and Kramsu, they're still having to fight their way out of the Reckless Railways. One elimination might not be enough, but our international regions fully understanding they're going to need more points
opposed to taking full-on head-to-head battles, almost lurking between the major drops, trying to find fights that are in action, working a lot better for them now.
But the bigger picture here at DF is that when you got a third place team going out this early on into the match, no placement points secured, and that is a massive deal because it gives so much opportunity. It opens the door for everyone else to try and squeeze their way inside as Perez against the wall, trying to see if he can work his way out. But it's not going to be enough. Michael with the collapse, clean elimination, and that's going to be 3 in total for Job and Michael.
We're seeing why this is a team that had their dominating run on the region. Again, that Asian duo coming up, really making adjustments to their strategy. That's one of the best parts about the Day 2 format that we don't get to highlight enough, right? The teams that come in and start to adapt is what makes it so crucial to really pay attention to what is changing around you. But for Peterborough, really not much has changed. They have continued to key their way into the Rift Island. This time they're met with a lot more resistance. It's not the weakest we've seen them coming into mid-game, and I mean, it makes sense. You have Zaku up top here with Shadow and Vidil and Reason here. Very strong teams, very long on the searcher for Pollo and Peterborough. Everyone might just get what they've been looking for, potentially early exit here.
Rule it out with some little bit of a whip there out of Pollo. Is probably hoping if we can egg up Pollo. He finishes what he started, gets freezing in the process, but finds himself again, immediately gobbled out. Final deal. But now, a serious 1-versus-1 situation, but keep in mind, there's so many other teams surrounding Rift Island. Peterborough, he's just hoping that he can get the revive off.
Talk about an incredible save here, but Pacquiao's not going to make it easy here. Coming out, Peterborough is desperate and boxed up right now. Zaku is also just about putting in a couple of shots here with entering this one out. And just when you thought it was over, they get saved here. Peterborough and Pacquiao are back in.
But at the cost of so many of their forward walls, Peterborough had to fully utilize practically everything he had saved up. And keep in mind, they still need heals. There's no shield, at least as far as Peterborough's program is concerned. Possibly Pollo is carrying a couple of small shield potions, but I'd have to guess not, considering that neither of them is properly covered. They're just trying to tangle it once more with the deal, but he will not budge.
Doing an excellent job here waiting for them. He knows it's still a 2v1, and Peterborough and Pollo are absolutely deadly here. Let's not forget they have the medallion, right? So they still have very much full awareness of who's around them, but the tags, they need more damage. They've run out of heals here. This is about the best case scenario for every other duo in the lobby if they want to win the globals, which we know very surely they do. Pollo, though, not giving up just yet. Still knows that there's a job to be done here.
They're still 150 points ahead. That's like an entire game. So they don't even have anything to worry about.
Another issue for Peterborough and Pollo is
If they have a bad game, it's fine.
one of the only options remaining to exit Rift Island might just be take the Ascendant down, but again, if they go for that launch pad, they might encounter even more resistance from the other teams that are a little bit more established, a little bit more healthy as well, but Pollo, Peterborough, they try to mark it off in the first place. And they will break through the middle to manage to escape.
Hopefully they don't get targeted while they're flying by. A lot of teams here in the vicinity now. Peterborough going for the dive down. Pollo trying to scout where's the best spot there below the surface. They're going to have to land and take a fight. It's all or nothing now. Peterborough tries to go for some Sphinx. And then go for it. Peterborough gets got.
Not bad.
Everything relies on him to keep the train going here. He's going to find a lot of attacks here. Just enough to keep his team in the wind now. They took a box up Peterborough. They want to finish his duo. He's not trying to get away for free. He's actually fighting with all of his heart here. They're running for him, trying to steal his duo away. And he's
Oh, wow. He actually got dude. They killed Peterborough. Peterborough and Pollo are out, man. That's crazy.
Respect the weak shield performance there out of the Sphinx. He knew that he was already taking over control at least one shot and trust that Deuce.
All right, Chad, who's gonna win?
With a massive upset here in match 7 as 3 out of our top 5 teams already eliminated. backwards.
Agers is solo at the moment inside the zone, but we gotta get the update here.
I'm hoping Queasy wins this game. I want them to get first. If they get a good game this game, and get a lot of endgame points, they can win.
This global championships victory right before their eyes here. The times are great for Thomas. Things are really starting to ramp up now.
They're 600 above, so they're like chilling right now.
That's that victory. We saw it in the interviews. They just want to take height.
At this stage, if they've had a chance to witness what's been going down inside of that elimination feed, Thomas AD and Queasy exclusively need to focus on their own game, just playing things out as pretend another match, pretend like all these other teams in the top 5 are still in the lobby, because that's what's going to give them in the mindset to stay for their best performance.
There's a lot going on right now, given that the zone's starting to develop here. It's not just high ground being held. There's also big names clashing all around us here. Take a look at Albino jumps in, takes down Vapor in the highlight. Possibly then, Victor V. It wasn't over yet. He gets ready. To the hands of Quarantine. Go.
The overhead view doing an excellent job highlighting. There's practically nowhere left to hide. Everybody is stuck on even ground.
Yo, I could win this, bro.
And what I want to see, NBA, is whether or not Queasy and Thomas are going to be able to successfully make their stake on height. Trulex and Chicho box on the low ground directly underneath them. And if these Titans clash, one or the other could potentially hold.
Or here's a big Thomas HP and Queasy are two of the, again, only players left in this lobby that will notably challenge height every single time. Most of the competition that would otherwise do that is not in this lobby. I do anticipate a runaway scenario here. However, Brazil, King and Phaser hopping across, yeah, not even close enough to challenge them for high ground. So there's very little teams that would actually have the heart to go up, unless coming into game 2, they decided to shift strategy.
And that was a pretty risky jump forward as well from King and Phaser, because the way that Thomas HD and Queasy have been spraying at other teams, you've got the indication that they likely have an assault rifle, so it's a lot more difficult to make those jumps from the high ground off the floor rate is heading towards front side of the next
Reed's
zone.
dead.
Sphinx, Dukes, we saw them shut down our first place team on the leaderboard already here today. They're hoping to see if they can transition this into a victory royale of their own.
Sphinx and Dukes doing elims. Hard eyes on the prize right now as he's trying to slip his way from the storm line into the safety, but unfortunately is going to fall there. 19th place now. Very well within the top 20 here as there's a lot of placement points to be earned. This is a 1.5x multiplier for everyone tuning in right now. These games have significantly more weight than yesterday's round. If there's a game you want to perform, it is here and it is now. Easy and Thomas still working their way. Look at this build. They are willing to commit heavy material, heavy resources to hold high ground.
And what's one of the most impressive aspects of Thomas HD and Queasy's run is that they've been doing all of this without a forecast tower. They are just sheer commitment at this stage. Thomas HD continuing to try and prevent players from getting anyone near that secondary height even, as Cooper forced to just utilize the med kits, playing from the backside of the storm and zone in general, but only a matter of time before he spotted out as a solo.
It's a complete shake-up with the teams we're seeing alive right now as well. Bryson Bolts keeping up the momentum from where they left off in game number 6, carrying it straight into game number 7 now. The near top 10 for Bolts here, where you will watch the fight one on the outside of the zone. Trulex and Chicho, meanwhile, just running game here on the mid-ground. Now looking to jump down to low. They have enough mats to do so, cutting off their opponents here. There's a lot of reaction coming here, though. You got Asia on one side of the wall, OCE on the other. Fully boxed in now. They have to be careful. There's no way out.
Oh, they're dead.
Trulex and Chicho might have signed themselves straight back to the lobby accidentally now. Oh no, having to heal here. Chicho gets called out. One false mistake, and it will come back to haunt you here.
But on the scope, Queasy, Thomas HD, they can tell Phaser for a moment. He got a glimpse, but he won't actually get a taste of what the high ground is like. Queasy now into the first to drop. He's continuing, he knows he needs a refresh, he wants more material, he can find elimination, he can play to this possible.
We are witnessing greatness right now as Thomas HD and Quasar put on a masterclass in the high ground here. Doing a very good job now securing eliminations on the rack up. Quasar will have to get those mats there. Has to jump to the tree. He sends Thomas HD down. So we're going to start cutting off the teams here. Completely new duo in the conversation as well. It's Sabru and King and Faze.
They're almost caught up to Peter Bottom
in a clean 2v2 here.
and Pollo. That's crazy. Yeah, they win. That's one. That's two.
And of course, you know what we're going to get next. A word here on the floor, given that we want to hear what's happening.
Would you please give it up your game 7 winners, Queasy and Thomas HD! That is the way to do it. Game 7 on day 2 of Global Championships. Queasy, the high ground was kicked there again. What a way to start the competition today.
I mean, they kind of not. That simple.
I love that. A man of few words, but you know what? They mean a lot. Yeah, like a punch. Thomas, today as well, we see the likes of family in the audience. All these fans here as well. Forward, make some noise for these players! I want to talk about how pivotal it was as well. You saw the elimination feed. I think the 6th zone, we saw Peter Bokoyo go down. Did you know that you had to capitalize on that?
These students are said like sort of a good feed, so yeah. We just played our game. We didn't think about winning the game, but it doesn't matter for us.
Now that you've seen the 1.5 multiplier making a massive difference today as well, look at the points, you've really tidied things up at the top. Do you go out the same way again? We obviously high ground being really important there. How did the mid-game change for you guys that time?
I mean, we will see. I can't tell if we high or not, but the opportunity is there.
And it seems a little Queasy that each time you guys get that high ground, you're one step down, just to wipe the floor, get those eliminations. Thomas holds the high, and it's working really, really well.
Yeah, what is there to say? Like, we just take high and we win. There's nothing else to do. Like, we just need to perfect our mid game. And if we get in 10 game and big match, that's it.
We're looking forward to seeing what happens next. Would you please, one more time forward, give it up for Queasy and Thomas HD! That is the other side of day 2 of MNCS Global Championships 2024. Global Sport Cup, what's going to happen next? We'll find out after this very short break. We'll see you in a few.
Gonna play the same ad over again. Ready? Yup.
Get hype, don't die! Get hype, don't die! Come on, man. It's too easy. It's too easy.
Fortnite fam, we got the tournament on 8, baby!
Take height, don't die. Take height, don't die.
Let's go! Game number 1 on the day, 7 overall. Easy, Thomas HV find the victory royale. And they repeat exactly what they said yesterday. Take height. Don't die, Levin. Listen, Wheezy and Thomas, I mean, the hybrid, right? It was working yesterday. They were getting a little bit of pressure, in my opinion, from the likes of Vigo and Flexi primarily. But Vigo and Flexi go.
All right, let's see if they can do it again. Peterbot and Poyo should be out of the game. And Queasy Thomas, they win. They're the ones I want to win. I've been rooting them since, like,
I mean, you look at
I think it was like the last year.
6 games.
I wanted them to win last year. They didn't, though.
Both those guys down and out of this end game, so much space for each chance to play with up on those layers. And it's just really great to see this from them, man. This is what I wanted to see from them all year. Right? We've always known Easy to be this dominant high ground IGL. This year, he took a step back from that. When it matters the most, though, relying on what he knows best, playing the high ground.
I just cannot believe it as well. When we kind of saw, I love the way that Queasy kind of commits to that high ground. We kind of look up and it's just cones. As far as the eye can see, most players will just kind of do a few floors, maybe a few fly. He's just like, nope, this is mine, all of it.
To be fair, there's not many players looking up at it anyway.
Yeah.
But if you did, and you just saw 300 men just committing to high ground,
Oh, dude.
to go up there.
David, are you seeing this? Do quick math for me, David. This lead is lots of yesterday. 23 points now separate Peterbot and Poyo and Queasy and Thomas. The question was, how is anybody going to catch up to them? That 1.5x coming into full effect. A bad game for Peterbot and Poyo. Shambles up on Rift Island, goes down early after trying to.
They just gotta run it back, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Queasy and Thomas, they mentioned it in that little bit of an interview right there. They saw it happen in the feed. They played their game to it, and now we've got a tournament on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Uncharacteristic this game from here, but they look like they're working with scraps at times. But Thomas and Queasy, not at all. Still exactly what we saw from them yesterday, where they're looking strong, in good positions to get surge. Thomas in particular, the Monarch pistol again, it is just relentless, the amount of damage this guy is putting in.
That's right, and guess what? We actually have a moment from that last game. Let's listen into that game-winning moment.
I'm not gonna. We should remember your skins. We should remember your skins. Yeah. You're dashing. Good. Yeah, we know their skins though. Yeah, good. I got a kill. Disconnect them on the right. Yeah, that's just the kill on the right. Yeah, I see. Here, jump. I'm going across. I'm on. Yeah, okay. I'm on yourself. Yeah, I am. We can get. Bring it. I don't have this. 60, 100 points. We got that. Nice. Just come up. Yeah, I see. Under 30. Guys, dead. Behind you, 20 speed. Dead.
Absolutely amazing, the stuff there. Just to see them be excited. Levin, I want to go back. You talked about that Monarch pistol in hand. We joked about it at the start of the day. What kind of damage are we actually putting in with this?
Let's take a look at the numbers. Who do you think is going to be leading with the Monarch pistol? Surprise. No surprise at all. Thomas HD by far and away just crazy with it. Again, if you know anything about Thomas HD and met us in previous years, it would have been the sniper rifle where we would have probably seen him be the leader. He's replaced the Monarch in that sense and he's doing the big damage with it, and it's a big part of success this weekend.
Love that from you, Levin. Honestly, I saw a little bit of a shot right there that we were getting on the stage. It was Thomas and Queasy, right? If they actually turn around in their chairs, guess who's right across from them? Peterbot and Poyo, they were actually staring each other down up there, probably sharing some emotions right there. That's awesome. They're like, hey, listen, it's game on. That's right. Let's talk.
Yeah, man, I'm having a great time. My team, the team I'm rooting for, just won, so they're caught up with Peterbot.
We gotta go up to Rift Island
I'm rooting against Peterbot. I want Queasy and Thomas HD to win. They're doing good right now.
They're kind of used to getting the rep behind them uncontested.
They didn't win last year. I want them to win this year.
Sometimes that was kind of just
They're second.
side of it. We actually saw two other
I think it's like 20 points behind.
even capturing the rip behind them, right? And once we tuned in with them when they were actually up there on the rip behind them, I think they were only like, what, 60 damage above? And usually that's like 400.
That's literally what I was about to say, right? Where it's like, they shouldn't even have to rely on range with islands to be getting the damage. Usually they are much higher. Before that, I think we're already seeing some changes in the way people are playing around that area of the map in the mid-game. They're clearly struggling with it. They're going to have to figure things out and fast.
That's right, third place, True Lakes and Chicho just rising up the standings. They're holding that third place. And to think here, True Lakes had to do this as a solo player. He had to play heals, but in those moments with this multiplier, those placement points make a difference.
Absolutely, it's exactly what we expect Chilis and Chicha to do. To be honest with it, a bit unfortunate with how that game sort of panned out towards the end. They were doing a good job on some of those mid to low layers. They get cut off, right, on low ground. And usually if you get cut off on low ground, it's tough to replay them. The problem was, the team that cut them off, we started with Wolves. And they then pick up the free off with Wolves to try to get out of the storm. And again, they just lose too much time. If Wolves is too next to use those medkits earlier than they probably would have wanted to, and that leads to the end of their game. A top 6 ain't bad, but that could have easily been another top 3 for them.
No, but it was super, super good for them, right? Because coming into that, remember, they were one of those top 5 teams. And we saw actually multiple of our top 5 teams go down. Those being Eco and Flixie went down early. Again, obviously Peterbot and Clay went down early. But another one was Acorn and Cole that also went down early. And I think me and Levin, we noticed something very, very fast that game. They were uncontested. They were contested for all 6 games yesterday. So that big switch up could be affecting things largely. Those ripples making a difference here. Every little thing can change an outcome, but it is that time. Game number 8 is being ready for us. So Casters, what do you?
Yeah, it does seem like being uncontested now starting to work against some of the favorites who are up at the top.
Yeah, and for the teams that are having to essentially switch up their strategies, one thing we were noticing, you pulled up something rather interesting from social. Swizzy even giving a shout out. I will seriously do my best today. So match number 8, let's see what he's got.
Game number 8 is here, and there's a lot that we have brewing down here inside the storm and on the battle bus, of course, given that the gap has officially closed. And you saw in the interview just moments ago, Queasy mentioning that, hey, if there's enough space between me and third, we're going to do everything it takes to secure number 1.
And that might be one of the worst things ever if you're Peterbot and Pollo. You almost have to try and block it out, but how much can you really ignore when you see the gap chopped so viciously after a singular match because of that 1.5 times point multiplier? But drawing that conversation back to that little note that Vivid had touched on, teams that were contesting each other, they might have gotten very accustomed to having consistent damage. I think Acorn and Bolt specifically, they were so directly in control of Primo Beachhead, Enlix and Sato. They tried their best, but they realized this is not going to work out. We've got to completely revamp our strategy for day 2, and now it's up to Acorn and Bolt to figure out a new game plan on the fly.
Talk about that, even Huddy and Kovacs now have seemingly demanded their respect from Troll and Sky, who have given up the Rebels. Bruce already moving out. Likely that they had a bad drop here, and these small micro changes will absolutely create domino effects. So what we're looking at, 7th place now, doesn't have as many teams here. We already know Vino Eclipse had a little bit of a different situation until looking at their drop. Combined Boyo had a team move out, right? All of these teams now have to make adjustments.
But kind of moving in quickly towards that launch pad. It's evident with the forecast tower in sight, there's going to be a brawl stemming out of Sandy Steps, but also drawing in the attention of teams surrounding this southern section of the map.
Look at this.
Stored Reels definitely inactive.
Our Alex Powerworthy continuing to perform very well on the drop. But that mid game, they can tighten things up, possibly leave the Reels faster. They'll be better off. Angel's looking good here. All shield levels expended, but over the distance, there is, of course, more players coming in.
Love this snap play adjustment out of Cooper and Kanata. They recognize, hey, we had issues with search for a better way than to try third-party teams that won't be expecting it. Alex and Worthy, they're still trying to chase down their stats. Find the same elimination. Now Cooper and Mustache fall yet again to Oshi. But now Kanata, Cooper, they're not going to let them relish in the moment for even a second. Kanata immediately breathing down the neck of Alex. He's trying to scramble out, but he hasn't had a chance to regenerate anything. He's just hoping that his teammate can try and provide some relief. But Kanata and Cooper, they finally find Alex, and that's going to be the end of one half of the Oshi Power Boys.
And you can see Alex's only concern there was, let me buy time for my teammate to get out. We can still play this game. So Worthy looking to secure as much loot as possible and then rotate out. Meanwhile, but EU's Chuck and Teeny here are going against NA Cars and Bonka. So far, so good for Cars and Bonka. We have a defensive hole inside the factory, but Teeny and Chuck likely feeling like it's a little dangerous to step in now. They're going to take what they can and move on out, it seems.
Teeny possibly reverted back to his old ways. With Chuck next to him, seems like they want to look, try and apply some pressure to any teams that might be for some easy pushing strats over by the dock next to the shipment station. Yakko and Swizzy on the other hand, pop it out at the wrap. They're going to manage to find threats in the process. And this triple contest situation just continues to heat up, but this is a very different Brutal Beachhead vision in comparison to what we've been used to seeing.
Yeah, we got Cal Gamer and Hamon here now. Up against Angulex and Sato. Nicely done for Hamon. Finding Sato with a big elimination here. Now Cal Gamer has to do his ones. Going toe-to-toe for the shot there. Angulex extremely weak, but instead of causing the backup, and beautifully done as Hamon finishes the deal here from Middle East. And they're going to find themselves a wonderful set of eliminations. Now the drop is theirs. No Acorn and Cole. So clearly a rotate must have happened and a lot sooner.
They're not the only ones countering some slight adjustments to new path and rotation strategies early on. Nico Flixie next to Buga and Aviv, but at the same time, some damage was clearly applied. Whether that came from Buga and Aviv, didn't necessarily get the chance to see, but Nico and Flixie are now inside of the cemetery, and there's a very high likelihood that they're just looking and waiting for the opportunity to make a play for the weapons bunker nearby.
A little quick highlight here as we walk away. Unfortunately, King and Phaser gonna be some of the duos caught out. Old risky play walking into the building, and the team sitting in the attic. Thing to do.
It's almost like how we saw Honey and Boback sitting inside of a bush in match 7. Like a lot of these players, again, you don't really want to get messy. You don't want to cut any corners. You've got to make sure that you are checking every angle, proceeding with caution every step of the way. Otherwise, you might just find yourself on guard. Braids completely exposed. Honey had the overhead view, but didn't manage to connect the shots.
Still like this angle here. Plenty of gas in the tank there for Honey. As he slides out, this one Braids put up a great fight. So far, Honey opening the distance here, still keeping tabs on the opponent, making sure the teammate doesn't find too much of an angle on him. And then you have in the bush, in the distance, in the base, Maz and Epic Whale just listening ever so closely. Meanwhile, what about Emporio making up for match number 7 here in match 8? Trying to farm and fish for tags, right? This is their biggest problem in match number 7. Now that they're uncontested, basically didn't get to get those early fights, right? Things have gone a little bit differently for them. It's becoming a lot more difficult.
So same for Clicks and Veneta, they've seemingly been surrounded. We knew that there was going to be a lot of foot traffic coming through This area, based off the forecast tower's fallen, but with Peterborough and Koyo seemingly in full control of that, Blix Venom, they're now going to have to choose a new method to try and establish some surge tag damage. And again, Storm closing in on their backs. It could take their time. They could still potentially loop back around, hit the vending machine that they're familiar with. That's still standing.
Looking to see if they can find any tags in there. Meanwhile, Picho and Truex, they've been putting on a performance worth studying. You have to start to wonder now, what is it about their draw spot, their mid game, their early game that they've been able to do so well that they've continued to make end games and then perform at the highest caliber. Now being one of the few teams in the race here for the first place. They still have to keep it up. They still big contest, although the team that's there has given them a little bit of room to work with. Meanwhile, a team that has a lot less room, Swissy and Yapko, right? You all know the Raft has been highly fought after. They have 3 Ewings, so they're not making these for anyone, but hold up, Blix is in the back.
It's crisp on the other side of this box, but Blix Venom definitely looking a lot more healthy. Their counterpart, sure, not Venom is going to close this one out. That's another elimination. 12 points already. Keep in mind, that point multiplier doesn't just come into effect for the placements, but eliminations also being worth 6 apiece. It's a great way to climb. But Venom, Blix, they gotta be careful. Sneaking up when they least expect it from 2 separate sides. Aspect, Kazi, Damo, Resigns. This could go from bad to worse in a moment.
Yeah, Click's already hears the shots coming out here, so they're not slick by any means. He does have a couple of splashes here, so being able to get their HP up is not too much of a problem. Meanwhile, Vito looking to alpha up some positioning over Kazi and Aspect here. Trying to see what this team wants to do. Vito clearly doesn't want to stick around for too much longer. It's a lot of risk involved here. He does have a couple of med kits. I like what he's doing though. He's inching his way across here. Saying if you really want to do this, we're going to do a box to box, mano a mano. And there's the lead that he was trying to secure. Now he's got Max. There isn't much more for him to worry about here. However, if they stick around too much longer, I mean, only trouble is waiting for them.
At the same time, they've got to be really careful on how they choose to disembark and rotate out of here because with so many eyes on, there is a high likelihood they could get tagged up in the process. And it's very nice that Venom was able to secure those max mats because Blix having to build the entire way as they maneuver out of that location next to Sandy Steps.
Take a look at the highlight here from Chad and TD. Strong EU duo, very consistent and for good reason. They take down FKS and Adapter there in a head-to-head engagement. Adapter still standing actually as we jump in live here, even after the save, but unfortunate now as they get fully finished. Trap goes down, the save's gonna come in, 4 shots from the distance here. Nico and Footsie hearing what's happening. Bobby and Larpex inside the base nearby as well. In come Muzzin everywhere. They hear the action. They're going to be some surge. So it's a melting pot of regions and competition come together now.
It's just the way that we're seeing all of these teams essentially conglomerate on top of each other. We didn't get a whole lot of this in day 1, but the adjustments that everyone is trying to adapt to last second here, causing so many hiccups for everyone else that teams are encountering across the way. Koyo and Peterborough even working their way through the storm. Got eyes on Yapko and Swizzy. They clearly won the fight, but way off in the distance, teams a little bit closer to that end zone, putting even more pressure still onto Peterborough and Koyo. They are not getting the same clean rotations that they had all day yesterday.
Now keep in mind, this is a team that has landed on each other, right, coming into the season. So Peterborough and Koyo now forcing them back out because tags are coming in from the distance is definitely not ideal by any means. However, if they found the tags that they need, they won't have the problem they had in match number 7, right? They were so far below the surge. This lobby started to cut down pretty quick, so we are just gonna have to see what happens when the zone closes here.
Problem though, Peter Bond, he's the only
This is Vicky's arena.
Then he can find some bandages and get any form of life here.
Yep, I gave you mod just because you asked for it the other day.
Like it's going to come a long couple of bananas, and Peter Bond knows he's just gonna have to let his duo fall. He'll make the play for the revive after he expends this med kit, but they still got so much ground to cover. The team already choosing close in. Sky, Squad.
Oh, Pollo's down again.
Peter Bond, can he get Pollo up?
They've been watching, they saw what happened, and then they saw the
Oh, is are
everyone is covered here. They have to literally break him out and then fight, and he is ready. Rifle in hand, shot.
Pollo's dead. Pollo's dead. He's gone. Peterbot's got to be dead here. They need to get him out. Come on. Get this kid out here.
As is Peter Bond continuing to split them apart. He will not let them challenge him 1 versus 1. Anything else is not going to go their way, but Peter Bond, he's still mad at his rep.
Pollo's on. Pollo's gone. He's dead for the game.
Exactly how he needs to move, but again,
So he's not going to be getting... Oh, get him out. Get him out. He's in zone. He's got no whites. He's got no whites. He's dead. Dude, he's dead. Yeah, let's go.
And it is just starting to slip away now. If there was ever a moment for the competition to
Queasy's still in. They got that.
confidence here in game number 2, it is now. What a critical moment that just unfolded in match number 8.
but again, we heard it even in that last interview that Adam just had with Kuzi and Thomas HD. They choose to still play the game as if nothing's gone wrong. There's been no spoiler in effect for the first place team because they know their best performance is going to come from 0 distractions.
Crazy to think that the OCE team didn't rotate in at that time. You would have gotten the bandage off. And we would have still seen something potentially unfold. But the reality is now, top 5 is going to shake up.
And at this point, Peter Bond and Pollo, they might just have to hit the drawing board themselves because that's 2 for 2 on the start of today. That is just not gone anywhere near.
Thomas HD and Queasy could get like 100 points right here if they get another win. And they could just slingshot ahead of freaking Peter Bond and Pollo.
Easy. Got a nice overview of the rest of the map of their current position. Just trying to do some of the natural elevation to face up on. And here at Mount Olympus, a couple of teams nearby, but they've just got so much space boxed out and claimed.
Bryson Bolt, the Rift Island, Chicho and Trulix down low, still sitting pretty in 3rd place right now. They set under the Rift Island. Not an ideal situation to be in here, given that teams won't rotate because they see the island, let alone get a better angle for Chicho and Trulix. Very unlikely they have a duo in sight. It'll be important for them to find a couple attacks here. 340 above, they should be okay for the time being. However, that's the damage that we're looking for.
Another little bit of a shock though as far as our top 5 is concerned. Spinks and Dukes have also been eliminated. They jumped up a few placements after their match 7 performance. They were sitting inside of top 10, 9th, I believe, to start day 2. So the fact that they've fallen here already just means, again, ample opportunity for some of these other teams to try and leapfrog their way up and over inside that top threshold for the leaderboard. But Vico and Flixie, first off, they've got to deal with a little bit of pressure from the north side of where their base. And again, Vico and Flixie, they had some success whenever they were able to find those forecast towers in yesterday's matches, but it's not going to be as easy this time around, and Bryson Bolts are a big part of the reason why.
Bryson Bolts, slow and steady, wins the race, and they have been working their way on up. Just look at those standings right there. Currently in 6th right now, most of the immediate competition sitting on ice for a second. Another unfortunate run for Golden Acorn here. And they're a day 2 type of team, so really have to scratch your head and wonder what's happening over there. But put some meat on it, one more to worry about. We have resigns in Demo. Out of the question here, trying to look for the fight.
Nice.
Demo with a monstrous time.
Nice.
Shut down. Resigns in Demo. Really showing them who's the king of this one right now. But TJ and Truex have also met their match. What is happening over here?
Rift Island just continues to get even more traction surrounding the baseline of it. Teams that are potentially hoping to try and utilize some of the mobility aspects surrounding it, such as the rifts, and in fact, Chicho Truex, they're on the go. But remember, Queasy, Thomas HD, they were sitting on a peak near Mount Olympus. There's a very high likelihood that they're going to be looking to take some shots at some of these teams rolling in from the Rift Island.
Even Moog are definitely one of those teams as well. They have a lot of high ground. Back over Bolts and Bryce though. I'm Angels out here on the rotate there. Very, very important tags given that they are just 40 above the damage threshold. So a couple moments before that starts to affect everyone here. Big moves coming in though. Once the zone closes, the damage will start to escalate very, very quickly. The later the game goes, the more storm damage it will do per tick of you sitting inside of it. Bolts and Bryce cannot afford to mess around here. They will luckily full zone to their side, however, they are under the focus of the rest of the lobby. It's not looking good here.
Not only that, but they're also getting battered by these storm surge ticks. They need to connect at least one more shot, but they're losing the time to do so because they're having to heal instead. Valuable seconds. They could maybe catch some of these other teams that are also late on the rotate, but instead they're forced to deplete all of their shields, hoping that they don't get cracked because that audio cue might just be enough for somebody nearby to try and key them as well.
Yeah, having of course heal all of their resources at this point. Beautiful tags there is going to give them a little moment of relief. And that's exactly what has to be done here. So makes you appreciate having someone like Bolts on your team who can actually hit the shots that matter most. That means someone else from the lobby right now is taking that damage. If they're above, someone is definitely below. So these trades are happening in real time right now. Looking at the map, teams are starting to rotate in, now starting to get comfortable below them. If Bolts and Bryce can solidify their foundation, they have one of the stronger positions to actually close this game out now.
Almost makes me believe that they could have potentially gotten their hands off that forecast tower as well, given that they were willing to commit to a rather central position inside of this last zone. But Queasy Thomas off the launch pad, we're going to get some of the first touchdown inside this next zone, and instantly Queasy trying to see if he can re-establish the high control, same level of success they had in that last lobby. We know that's their game plan, so is that everybody else in this lobby?
Right that down too. He's got a lot of distance to work with, that natural elevation as well, not looking over the bit, given that the zone's going to hold here. And it was the right call. It's going far south. You know, these are the things you can't really account for. When the zone starts to bounce like this, it makes a big difference. And Vico and Flixie with an excellent early rotate right now, taking advantage of everyone's decision to kind of wait this one out and come up and formulate a strategy. Buddy and Kovacs still below the surge for the first time on the tournament weekend.
And again, keep in mind, this is a duo that hasn't necessarily been struggling with surge, but they've also thankfully managed to find an elimination in the nick of time here. Kovacs gonna put his duo just above 127 now on that damage threshold, but they still got to make this rotate happen. They're trying to build up. They just expended their last underworld dashes, and now the focus coming back their way as they try to scale this hill face. Elmer Wall's gonna come out, and Kovacs just seeing if he can remain undetected.
This is so impressive by Chicho and Truex. Chicho's gonna fall here into the storm with the refresh, which is so unfortunate, but they've managed to really earn their way through this endgame now. Can Truex get to safety? There's still a long way in front of them. And it's almost bait that there's a zip line there. Don't take that, Chilex. He knows it. He's going to avoid that at all costs here. Going around the sides now. He's safe, but for how long? Top 20 in sight. Meanwhile, on high ground, other teams now starting to set up a zone. Not as brutal this time around. A little bit more of a forgiving rotate here. As things are going
Queasy and Thomas are on height.
ground, though, you are set up.
Seti's on ultra height though.
Are one of those teams that could be the day 2 comeback.
But they might not even recognize the fact that Flix and Giga, they managed to get this wraparound play coming from a much less congested side of the zone, but still, Seti, Cammy, they are due for a comeback, and they've got to go massive here if they want to try and overcome a lot of those shortcomings that happened in day 1. Huddy, Kopax now can help the base of this mountain base. The zone pulls through Mount Olympus just so brutal with all these shifts in the elevation.
Nico Flix is still alive as well right now, moving their way up, actually utilizing the zip line for a moment there. A little bit cautious though as he went against his teammate here. Who's on this ramp? There he is. Here comes the heels. They see a player below them and they can't even afford to stick around. Unfortunately, Quincy misses the jump there. He'll just have to be caught up. Nico takes the build, breaks them all through the zip line there, and now he is crushing his way through. Meanwhile, Price coming up behind them, Kopax lands a shot on him. It's not safe at all. Here inside the top 15.
The zipline trick is not going to work out twice here. Bryce hoping that he can have an opportunity to utilize some of the last hits of that Blueberry Fizz, but again, Cammy, Seti, full control on the high ground. And keep your eyes on Blitz and Venom. They start ramping up. They might actually be close enough to get within striking range. Thomas HD Queasy, similar mentality.
This has to be the hardest zone to make your rotate across here. Queasy knows it. Beautiful time there, but not
Queasy's down.
Thomas HD will make it into the top 10, top 7 now. Dingo still standing as well. This is probably the most difficult.
Queasy and Thomas HCD are in first. They can win this.
It just gets so intense now. But give it a moment.
They win this game, they win the whole thing. No.
Thomas, top 5 now. Just moments away here from a potential win for Cammy and Seti now.
But the fact is, Hiko is clutching up some very even points as far as overcoming the top 3 inside the leaderboard. He's got the last little bits of his Blueberry Fizz to work with. Now he just needs to unleash. We know what kind of so much potential he has in store. If he can find another elimination or 2, that could be the
It's a 2v2. They have enough help and just enough material to make this one very interesting. Armored walls now starting to come out. Cammy doing the same here to try to conserve some material. Seti's got a lot to work with, but so many armored walls are going to buy them time, buy them room, right? There's still the clock running here. Nice counter fire now coming up to the high ground. Jonas is exceptionally well in this situation, but it's not looking good. Cammy and Seti are just chopping away now.
Seti even opting for it to drop down, but it might not even be necessary. The Polish Pantheon looking to try and take over here. Pixie, Giannis, scramble around the low ground with Pixie.
That's one.
Only one remains. Seti's
That's 2.
Seriousness on their face, given that they know there is a long tournament in front of them. Match number 8 is going to close out, and it's incredible to think that this is a team that is always so prepared, right? So, it's a new day. Please, give it up. Your game makers is coming in today!
What a day, what a start to the day. Second game at Victory Royale. You guys have been in this position before. Walk us through the end game there. It's in the high ground. Once again, reign supreme.
I mean, we were at that side, so it doesn't high ground, so it's really? I think
That was game 8.
First game up, we really got switch. And yeah, we just tried to do our best to switch in the other games and try to win more.
Well, you guys as well.
Alright, so let's walk around a little bit.
2022 Invitational winners. What kind of experience does that guys give you in moments like this, having been through the likes of that?
I think no, we're just that high that we want. We just need to focus on the next game. Do this and more. And yeah.
You seem very locked in as well here. I think you can see the 1.5 miles by really changing things around the leaderboard. A few more games like that. Who knows? You live the training intensity. Who knows? For you guys, how do you push?
Okay, so this.
At 4:30, currently they're telling us that it's the 4:30. Right now, 4:30 is scheduled. I don't know. That's probably what I understand.
They cancel, Kevin, they cancel? Yeah, they cancel one.
All right, here comes them.
The FNCS game number 2 on the day, 8 overall. Setting
Messi Ronaldo. Messi Ronaldo. Messi Ronaldo.
Over the Mount Olympus mountain. We saw Parisian Thomas was on the front side trying to set up behind, but with the way that zone pulled back, there was only one team to protect that.
I love there after that when they just sat back down, just leaned back in the chair. That's right, everybody. We're going to take that in. You watched it right. We got ourselves a victory royale. I love as well him just calling out, hey, we got dead side. We had our surge in check. A lot of these duels are still having those issues, right? Trying to manage Storm Surge.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, taking advantage of kind of that early high ground where they were able to kind of get those attacks that they need from around the lobby, and then using it, seeing where the zone is pulling on that mountain, like the south side down, and where obviously, if you get the high ground, you can do it to control the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, 100%. What's most surprising to me about this is actually their first win of the entire chapter. So it's like, how can Setu not manage to get wins? It has been their most amazing chapter overall, but it's going to give them that huge boost of confidence, because I was looking on the leaderboards going into this game, they were quite low down. I think it was like some top 40 area, so this is going to boost them up in the standings, it's going to boost their confidence as well, and I hope to see more from this duo lineup.
Also, what better birthday gift than to do the Royale?
On global stage. Why not? Happy birthday to you, Seti. We got to talk about a couple things here, like Peterbot and Pollo. Now in 2 games, that they had a really difficult start, which is, again, it just feels so uncharacteristic, especially after yesterday.
You know, Minnie at the top of the show asked me, Kelly, what do you want to see today? And I say, you know, I want it to be a close game when we get to being called. But I don't know if I necessarily meant this. I don't know if I meant our top team to go down twice without any points except for a few elimination points. And honestly, I'm wondering if it's just due to these rotations that they were dealing with, the over-aggression that we see from Peterbot and Pollo a lot. Also, getting kind of third party time and time again, which is such a struggle for them.
Yeah, they're struggling with their heels, I think. They're getting into a lot of these fights, not necessarily finishing them off, getting to use their own heels or having to use their own heels. And we saw it right there. Pollo went down first, and it was actually Sky that got the knock credit for that. So who was actually dipping off? Sky still was saying, right, let's go into the stall. And then they saw that little knocked Pollo on their screen. They thought, right, you know what? This is going to be a 2v1 against Peterbot. We then get the best medallion in the game. We get the best weapon in the game. It's worth the fight there. But of course, they didn't quite close out the fight yet.
Speaking of uncharacteristic, using the armored walls to box up, probably potentially to revive Pollo, but unfortunately knocking Pollo out of the blocks instead. And I mean, I'm just guessing it's nerves, obviously going down game one was a bit of an upset for them, and maybe those nerves they need to shake off for game three.
That's right, that's right. I actually want to take it back to this boxing up in a moment, right? We actually have to listen from that exchange. Let's see how this went.
I'm assuming most unlucky here of all time. We might need the fuck here, bro. 79 left. You don't get wait for that, brother. No heels. No lights. Getty? You Getty? No, we need to go now. Yeah, we still need more lights. We're gonna go northeast to the if on my list is the fight. Base killed you. This damage. 6 on it. Yeah. Okay. Get there. You're almost down. No, man. Get it up. That.
Definitely a difficult situation for the duo. I mean, you see how many different opportunities there was for any heal available. It did not receive a single one. Sometimes it just goes that way. You know, that is a little bit of
LRNG, I guess. I mean, they could have had a better game if they had more heals.
Fortnite, and that does mean what you're going to get out of those tests. What you're going to find is Luke, and unfortunately finding barely any white heals going as far as into the storm to get that bunker. But now, seeing where they are on the leaderboard, Peterbot and Pollo dropping down to second place, meaning that Thomas, HG, and Queasy are in.
That's my team right there.
Entire chapter that Peterbot and Pollo have played outside the top 25 in back-to-back games. And who's taking advantage of that? It's Thomas, HG, and Queasy. They will see Peterbot and Pollo going down the feed. And you can see the way they play this endgame. They weren't necessarily taking too many risks. We saw Thomas, HG playing out those methods towards the end. We saw them sort of poised for height as well just before that sort of night zone started to fall. And unfortunately it didn't quite work out for them. They were in a prime position for it. And of course, as we know, Cammy and Seti ended up coming out on top there. But it was this moment right here. Thomas was squeezing out as many placements as possible. 6th place in the end. It's not an amazing game. It's not first place like we saw in the game number 1. But it's a very, very good game to overtake that first place spot.
And honestly, with the lack of materials that they had at the end game there, they played it perfectly. They stayed to the low, they stayed back so that everyone that was staying in the front of zone where all that chaos is in the low and middle ground would not be affecting them. But of course, when you get down to just 6 teams, eyes are everywhere and you will eventually be caught out. But still, with what they were given in that game, Queasy and Thomas played that so well.
That's right, and for them, you know, it was looking good for Queasy and Thomas, right? There was just one problem. You would look up, you're like, we got a high right. You look up, oh, steady Cammy. Wow. With that being said, though, we are prepared for more action here from the FCS Global Championship. Game 9 is here and ready. So, Casters, take it away.
Yeah, you know, this is the dream for us as talent, watching this all play out and things starting to get close as we get some fun moments.
Like everybody from a spectator point of view wants to see some close finishes, but Peterbot and Pollo, I want to see them bounce back because we heard it from Peterbot on the ball, just the most unlucky move of his life. But let's see what match 9 might have in store. And just like that, we are back. Technically, NDF approaching the halfway point on today. And with with that in mind, this is where the pressure is really going to start to surmount onto so many of these players. Queasy and Thomas, they have made it to the top of the leaderboard, but now it's all about maintaining that position.
Yeah, the truth is that it's only going to get more and more difficult from here on out. Start to see the reality of the situation, that's you actually having a chance now to take it all away. Every moment, it's going to come with that little bit of hesitation, right? That second opinion inside the back of your mind of whether or not it is the right move. You have to continue to follow your instincts, follow your gut here. Worthy Alex right now, doing what they've done since yesterday, carrying in the momentum here. They've continued to win the drop. There are 4 wins of the drop consecutively, and it seems like things changed after they started getting moved first.
And what's also really turned things around for them is, like you just said, they kind of led off day one with a couple of wins here at Restored Meadows. Granted, one of those maybe a little bit more in favor for them to start with. Mustache Malabuka encountering some difficulties of their own along the way, but that being said, Malabuka versus Stash, the ball's in their court to try and bring this one back to life for them, because the reality of the situation is they have not been able to build any points for 2 matches already today.
Yeah, Malabuka and Mustache, clearly amazing players, right, from the European region that we know and love. Well, let's jump in with how Ian Kovacs talking about EU juggernauts right now on the move up against Atlantic, Stroll, and Sky. Stroll and Sky rotated very early in match 8. Come match 9, then they'll look to stick around and see this fight all the way through to the end, most likely. Kovacs and Hunt have a lot to lose here. They are in 5th place. Sky and Stroll have a lot to gain as they can fight their way up to the top 5 potentially with 1 good game, given the multiplier.
Sky and Skull, they're definitely familiar with these early contest fights off spawn, but could not but notice what looked to be an keyword Razor kind of working just a ways further north from Rebel's Roost in the distance, so some possibilities of a third party to take place. It all depends on just how noisy this exchange actually manages to get, and in fact it is King lurking nearby, potentially hoping for a moment to just stroll through, clean up some easy eliminations, get those points online, because we've already seen King and Phaser make a deep run into the end game in match 7, and they're definitely hoping to try and replicate some of that.
Also looking to just scrap this building out for what they can here, in case the fight does come down to the basement. Sky and Stroll doing the same as well. Luckily enough, they're on the back side of the building, so Phaser and King don't quite have lights eyes on them just yet. But I'm assuming the attention's going to come in shortly. For a moment, Kovacs and Huddy catch a foot there. They know where one player is.
And look, we're familiar with these battles, these early exchanges, but everything that I've noticed so far here today at BF is that it's very evident so many of our competitors are just freestyling every single part of their strategy here today. No one is on the same group path, the same rotations that they were making all throughout the course of yesterday, and that has made it incredibly difficult for some of these teams that I think just got a little comfortable with what to expect, now having to completely switch things up on the fly.
Yeah, even this battle is going to hit the brakes for a moment, but here we get a little update with Clix and Vino in the early game. What's happening here is that they're just trying to get situated for the first time in what feels like the entire tournament. Sandy Steps is in the zone. That's going to change the dynamic quite a bit, actually, given that they will be sitting in the storm, potentially fighting other players, and other teams won't be just rotating in, expecting them to be there.
And again, Clix and Venom definitely like to play for the vending machine that's nearby so they can expend that little bit of extra time inside and start taking those early swarm ticks without having to necessarily worry about it, because they'll have that ample amount of white heals. But Scroll, Sky, currently recognizing the fact that there's more than just one other team nearby. Phaser and King, they've actually got a cutoff route. The moment that any of these other two duos, whether it's Kovacs and Huddy or Sky and Scroll, choose
Take a look at what's happening here. Habib already has an elimination. Luka is right behind him right now. They land just a little further north, so sliding in, cleaning up house. Like John and Michael are also here part of this fight. Chicho and True Lips on the move right now, trying to get into the zone here. Being held out now by Luka and Habib. They're going to pull very fizz. Get a move here shortly. Take a look at the highlight. He comes in by Shadow, pushing up what's left of Virgo. Then T1 Michael takes the punishing shot there before pumping the brakes and backing off.
Peter Bar and Pollo definitely looking a little bit more set up this time around, but Peter Bar can find himself momentarily chopped and Pollo. The only intention from this duo currently is to secure this forecast tower, and with nobody else in sight, Pollo and Peter Bar have just unlocked knowledge for every future zone this game, but now they have to make sure that they can actually transition this into a solid late game run, because they've been cut short 2 times here today already, and again, no one looking to make it easy for this team.
Talk about Michael's job, making that rotate out. Seems like an equally as dangerous duo's got sights on them. Keep going Flixie now, making a move here, pushing into the walls, grabs the first one, takes the second. He's fast, he's quick. The reaction is so good for Flixie. And now up from top, coming in to see if he can end this. Vico grabs that wall, cuts him off, the double-headed, the triple, doesn't find it. Backs off now. Great defense from Michael here as he finds 2 tags, so he's effectively putting up a very good defense, but might just have to, I was gonna say, give all respects here, of course, the EU will back up.
That just seemed like such a stubborn battle there for Job, though. I mean, he could have looked to try and throw up another wall, maybe try and buy himself a little bit more time. Potentially, he may have just run out of materials, and after see Michael down to wood build, so this duo is definitely looking to be a little bit of shambles here. Flixie, Vico know that they've got an extra 6 points waiting for them. The moment they secure this elimination onto Michael. And finally, another 12 points will be secured, and not only that, but opening up the opportunity to continue trying to control other teams that are stuck just on the outside of the edge zone, closer to where some EPOIs are located.
That was 3rd place. This is 4th. True Lex and Chicho. As we're bending into the late half of the tournament now. Much more of a difficult game for Chicho and True Lex here, who again, clearly has a bit of a problem at the drop, and how that was shot. It's almost as if every time we tune in, that Monarch pistol damage is incredible. He's finding its mark. So, what's happening on the other side of the sandy steps, though? The zone landing here, we talk about that changing the dynamic of the game. And surely we're seeing it start to come into play now. As Resigns and Demo made it up the storm, so is Shari and Giras, the same teams here. A little off the distance. Peter Bob with the eyes on the eyes here.
Not only that, but Benno as well, keeping himself concealed just enough. Gets the chop onto Resigns' floor, also gets a few tags in, but still not enough for Benno to want to key him just yet. Instead, he's going to regroup with Flix. We continue to hold down the station, but it's just a very difficult time to try and break away when you know that there's 2 other teams duking it out just above on the hill.
Well, that's an assistant train here, but she gets it just in time for Joey Honey. Pretty desperate to try to secure a lead from here. And that's the result, again, of sitting in the storm, being contested, being held a little too long for a moment there.
How do you not even going to choose to stick around? They wanted the train, they nearly had it, but the fact is, MDF, they're going to have to leave this one empty-handed, and now only a handful of bandages in tow. Huddy and Kovacs could potentially be staring down the barrel of their own downfall. It was a risky play to try and make it for the train. I respect the call, though. The commitment, though, just impossible to find with so many eyes on it.
Bunker play right now for me. No teammate, unfortunately lost here just outside the underworld. So even for Huddy Kovacs, there's no danger nearby. You never know who's sitting in the storm. Just really shows you anything can happen. Meanwhile, Bryson Bowles, a few times we got you caught up with them, kind of in the early / mid-game here, so things are starting to develop. This time it's up against Audio and Reason. The floor take here for Bowles. Bryce playing the other angles. D'Angelo coming in first.
Canoa's just been on fire today. He is not willing to budge. The moment that he sees an opening, he is immediately shooting back and typically winning out in some of those exchanges. And now he's able to overtake the high ground because of the damage that he applied on the bolts just now. But Reason, the moment he starts to crank up, another team in the distance, a solo even, potentially threatening his position. Got a few shots in, but Bryce Bowles essentially not fully aware of the damage that Reason just absorbed. They're going to choose to actually sit into the low ground and wait for a new opportunity to see if they can engage again with the Germans.
Richmond Medill playing a dangerous game here though. A lot of these balls are not theirs. They're sitting in all this Bowles and Bryce territory. They have successfully infiltrated, if you will, this base here and taken over a good portion of it. Bryce is looking like he might be going for the edit out. I've never seen one, it's definitely getting set up. They recognize what's happening. And for that reason, jump that down.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of time being spent on both sides. We've already seen a lot of teams here today struggling with some of these surge thresholds and maintaining damage that puts them in a position where they can just be comfortable on their rotates. And the longer these fights draw out, the easier it is for other duos to get ahead of you, to look back, take shots, prevent you from entering a solid position inside the zone. And Baka and Pars, a little bit more so in control surge base inside the heart of Nitrodrome. They've got a couple of white kills collected at the top of their base. Meanwhile, probably got a little peek into what Cold and Acorn have been up to. Hopefully quiet day so far, but we heard it first from Acorn. He's after that trophy.
Day 2 team, still yet to show us it today. A couple points slipping down here from Acorn and Cold. None of these things do happen. The adjustments being made by the other opponents have surely affected their strategy. But they will have to continue to adjust and continue to make up for it. Mugen and Beam seem to be on a faster track here today as well. What's going on here? So from one fight to a potential other, just getting situated. Seems like they found their home for now.
Slight dip as well. An extra bottle of Flowberry Fizz now worked with. Eve and Luga just want to make sure that they establish as much of a foundation as possible. A decent position inside the zone, so don't even make any decent play in there. Some of this one starts getting the play where they're the ball, but 8-1 Cold tapping back in. It's Zeta that managed to find him again, but it's actually the Dame on the other side of the walls. A lot of traction picking up here. Just outside of Sandy Steps and Acorn Cole really to collect. Cole still barely down onto Cal Gamer, but just above. The backup has arrived. Cole is gonna have to disengage.
Yeah, Taman out of nowhere here, diving across, trying to get into this fight. Acorn and Cole almost had a set of eliminations waiting for them, but due to Clicks and Vito shooting in at the box when they initiated, everything went downhill for a moment there. And now, they're just trying to find the tag as they're below the surface, so they're in an honestly desperate situation here.
At the same time, Acorn tries to take the walls there, but instead it's gonna be Cal and Amon doing what they can, but again, Cole getting a little bit too much foot traffic here. Cal still holding his position firm. He doesn't have to do any longer, but Clicks better. They got the shots that they needed to. They know that they can third party this no problem. Cole, he's so weakened as is. Cal just below. Two separate solos that Meadow and Clicks could look to collect on.
Yeah, and it definitely starts to change their focus in purely onto Cole now. They send him running. Now we're going to see if they can pick up the spoils of the loot from Acorn, but nothing just yet. Because they're kind of lost in this mix, and little do they know there isn't Angela Sato here, right? So that team hasn't made any noise now, but look at that. They do secure the gear here. Very nice pickup for them. If nothing else, it was damage and new loot.
They basically just got to reap all the benefits of these exchanges that Acorn and Cole initially established. Cole, yet again, caught off guard, was trying to keep himself tucked away, but Cal gets the job done. At the very least, he'll have those two solid eliminations onto Acorn and Cole to work with, but he knows he's likely not safe for a whole lot longer here. Because Venom and Clicks, they've got an idea. They heard those shots go off. They're waiting for Cal to surface from these builds. But at the same time, they also kind of want to get a move on because they don't want to get stuck in the swamp too much longer here.
Yeah, it seems like Vino's going to get the call out here. Let's just get out of it. Play smart. Click's going to have to stop and heal for a second. They're going to huddle up together. Cal Gamer will live to see another day. Very, very close engagement there.
I always think it's so impressive though, every single time check in with Queasy and Thomas HB today, it just seems like they have so much surge and for good reason, but somebody wishes they had a little backup at this point. Kovacs just lost his duo to King, and this exchange has been trailing them ever since the Rebels Roost. King and Phaser have refused to leave Kovacs and Honey alone, but now Kovacs as a solo, he's got to deal with the likes of Reed and Ritual to his east, and not only that, but a collection of duos slightly less in his current position. A late rotate is going to be a necessity if he wants to power his way through here, but some of the shots that he's applying, he knows he needs to get that damage just above the threshold, and still exposing his position. It's a risky engage.
Looking the game on the other side. Find your way to the zone. Not going to have that hard reveal. They're below the surge though. They will have to find a duo or land on someone shortly, and from their sights, there isn't anyone nearby. There it is. Finally, they see a fresh build. It's a team, and it's a single lock. So confidence is surging here, but Bugha tournament first. No extra heals. This is all around disastrous, right, for Bugha and the team right now. And it's only a matter of moments. They will have to do something shortly. Meanwhile, Honey already out. Kovacs below the surge as well. Low blow here shortly if he can't find the tag now. But Reek finds it instead, and that's your 5th place team now. Consistency tossed down for once. And it's looking like a repeat performance of yesterday for Honey and Kovacs.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to really be able to bulldoze your way as a solo, Reed, Ritual, the whole duos. Here by Polio, though, this is the furthest we've seen them make it all day today, so they're clearly trying to ramp up for a big performance here in the 9th lobby, but Clicks and Venom, on the other hand, they've got Gears and Cherry in their sights. Got very efficient cut off, but more importantly still, they need more damage. It's going to take them some time, but finally Clicks will connect. 77 above though. Damage threshold just continuing to threaten so many of our teams here today.
Yeah, if you were hoping to get lucky with Purifying Pollo, that already happened, right? Like 2 games, unprecedented, doesn't happen often for them not to be in the end game. So this is everyone's chance now. Playing field hasn't even nicely done by Embiid here. Not only did he actually pick up and save Bugha, but he manages to find damage to keep him in the game. And enough damage on the duo to have them to stop the keep so they can rotate, but it is not looking good for Aviva and Bugha. I don't know what more we can expect of them, but there are a lot of duos there. So Toyota Napoli, the strongest Asian duo from day number 1. They finished in 10th, so they came in today with a lot to live up to, but I've fallen a bit short now. I think it's the likes of Aviv and Bugha here competing along speed.
There's never a time to prove himself. It's now for Aviv, but he has so little HP to work with, but he has plenty of targets surrounding him. Bugha though, just 2 roll for the count. Sato's gonna find him. Aviv coming back.
everything that you'd be hoping for. And there's another one to K Shoto outside of the zone here, trying to make their late rotates. Clicks, it is not looking good for him at the moment as he's also in the storm right now. Vito is down. This is just a desperate spot to be in.
Clicks, if anything, was just hoping to play or maybe another elimination at the end of the day, though. He's only got a little bit of sliver of HP to work with, but it's just enough. He might be able to clutch out at least one or two more placements. If he can just stay hidden, fully concealed from the rest of the lobby. Only 3 builds though, MDM. I fear we're looking at the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's definitely looking really close here. 8 HP for Clicks, 3 mats to work with. Late on the rotate here, barely above the surf. It's just so tough. But he's staying alive here, earning little bits of placement, right? All this does start to add here. But Holy, very weak. Almost gets an elimination there. Someone else ends up feeling it, but still, he's in the game right now, holding on.
He's at least got that bit of damage above his threshold. But again, it's just the odds so fully stacked against him. Any of these next builds that he crosses over could be his last. Teams could just be waiting for a perfect opportunity to scoop up a free 6 points from the backside of the zone, though. Clicks continue to try and charge through, hoping that he can catch the player on guard. He sees going up. He knows there was an ops behind him, but he won't be able to power through and push into these boxes with the armor balls going up instead of trying to make it concealed. Boy, on Peter, they're gonna find it.
Of course, it's Boyo and Peter Rock waiting to catch them in the web. Look at this though, Cammy and Seti. They talked about what they need to do in order to win this tournament here, and that is win more games, got the last round, and then they didn't even sit down and celebrate. They know that they have to stay absolutely locked in here. But Weezy and Thomas HD are doing the same right now. Below the surface, things can continue to develop here. People puts now on 2-3 kilos. We've got Boyo very good situated right now, but all material.
Full material, not only that, but people at Glitzy on the heels as well. You have to consider they're making up a lot of lost ground just off the eliminations alone. Keep on going to know it. They're just going to try to play it out and control the low ground for the time being. But with that reveal medallion scanner having just gone out, it's a fresh opportunity for them to see if they close it on somebody else. Keep jumping over the big tag on the CZB. That's going to be the knock. And Peterbot instead finding the deal in the bottom layers. That's going to be a beautiful refresh for Boyo.
This is starting to look like a 4-way race, so let's do some sticks and get away there. Another top 10 team, of course. But Peterbot and Boyo are cooking right now. And also, they picked up material here. This low ground performance is what to take note of. On the other side, Thomas HD and Weezy are also playing the low ground here, but not so hot looking for them at the moment as they are working out of material. So very different start situations happening here.
They're at least healthy though, and with that gatekeeper shotgun prime, it only takes one good shot for Thomas HD to find the refresh necessary. They're going to continue to sink in from behind the rest of the foot traffic. They're playing for the backside of the zone. Peterbot, Boyo, meanwhile, staying ahead of the pack. Thomas has lost Thomas. He's going to opt for the method opportunity instead. And with 0 builds remaining, it's all going to boil down to whether or not he can even make it into the zone and stay concealed enough for nobody else to pick him off.
There it is, going to break through the sidewall. This is all competitive. Box is very weak. White HP, the armor wall comes through. Not worth, of course, pursuing at this moment. He has to focus in on staying in the front side here. No build to work with. Enemy around the backside. Can he get one? 1 point for him. This is huge for Queasy now. Earning points, earning eliminations. He has to stay ahead of Peterbot, who is on the low ground with a down teammate. Peterbot, so much more to work with. However, it's still so close for everyone else. Another med kit is going to start coming up for Queasy.
He's just doing everything he can to survive. Peterbot hit by T in the process. Finds a bullet into
It's not good.
It's Duke's still the Peter Bond. Looking to fight back. Do not count him out. It is all supposed remaining here. Teacher up. Three players now here. Peter Bond. Looking at 1v1v. Can he find the final fight where Dukes is excellent and he sends Rihanna for Peter Bond? It's just a
Take his win. Come on, Dukes. Come on, Dukes. Oh!
back to the lobby is the motto here. Well played. Would you please, forward, put your hands together.
Okay. I'll be back after halftime.